Something big is happening behind the scenes. Trump just dropped a bombshell on Iraq's economy. No more US dollars, not even electronically. Could this be the final push that forces Sudani's hand and leads to a major exchange rate shift? Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Updates, where we bring you the latest insights on everything affecting the Iraqi currency. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This one could change the game entirely. You'll want to hear this.
Lately, the talk around the Iraqi dinar has gotten a lot more intense, and for good reason. Former President Donald Trump has stirred up a storm with some very direct and very strategic comments about the US dollar and Iraq. According to multiple sources and recent discussions within US political circles, Trump reportedly said, "I'm not sending a single dollar to Iraq anymore, and not even electronically." That may sound like just a bold political statement, but it's packed with economic implications that could pressure the Iraqi government, especially Prime Minister Sudani, into making some massive monetary changes, possibly even a long-awaited shift in the dinar's exchange rate. So, let's break this down. Why does Trump's statement even matter? After all, he's not in office right now, right? Here's the thing. Trump is still one of the most influential figures in American politics. His statements tend to move markets, shape conversations, and apply pressure on both U.S. institutions and international governments. And whether he's gearing up for a return in 2025 or just rallying his base, when he makes strong comments like this about not allowing U.S. dollars into Iraq, it signals a policy stance, and trust me, people are listening. If you've been tracking the situation in Iraq, you know that one of the country's biggest ongoing issues is the parallel market, the unofficial exchange rate market where the dollar trades well above the official rate. This parallel rate has been a thorn in the side of Iraqi economic reform, hurting consumers, creating corruption, and feeding instability. Now, Trump's stance directly targets that. By cutting off electronic dollar flow, essentially freezing dollar liquidity, Iraq faces enormous pressure. Banks can't move dollars freely, importers start to struggle, and most importantly, the Iraqi central bank loses its grip on keeping the dinar stable. It's like a financial chokehold. So where does Prime Minister Sudani come into this? Sudani has been walking a fine line. On one hand, he wants to show strength and independence, he doesn't want to be seen as bowing to U.S. control. On the other hand, Iraq's economy relies heavily on access to U.S. dollars. Oil revenue flows in dollars. Government spending is tied to it. Even basic trade and imports are dollar-dependent. If the USA under Trump, or even under current policymakers inspired by Trump's rhetoric, begins to truly restrict or monitor dollar movement to Iraq, it will create a liquidity crunch that could force Sudani to act fast. And that's where the exchange rate comes in. There's growing speculation that Iraq may have no choice but to finally adjust or revalue the dinar, potentially closing the gap between the official rate and the parallel rate, or even significantly strengthening the dinar altogether. Why? Because that's one of the only ways they can stabilize internal markets without relying so heavily on external dollar flows. Think about it, if you can't get enough dollars, you need to make your own currency stronger or more credible. That might mean a new exchange rate policy, rate unification, or even bold revaluation moves that Iraqi citizens and investors around the world have been anticipating for years. Of course, this isn't guaranteed. Iraq is still deeply political. Corruption is a factor. Regional pressures from Iran, Turkey, and others complicate every decision. But one thing is certain, pressure is building. And Trump's dollar cut-off comment has just poured gasoline on that fire. Sudani can't ignore this anymore. The central bank can't drag its feet forever. And the people of Iraq, who are suffering under inflation and distorted currency markets, are demanding relief. Could this finally be the moment where Iraq takes that leap? Many believe so. And if you're watching closely, the signs are lining up. We've seen increased meetings between Iraqi financial officials and international advisors. We've seen subtle moves to tighten controls on the parallel market. We've seen language from Iraqi ministries that suggest a shift is being prepared. They just haven't made it official yet. If Trump's rhetoric turns into real pressure, financial or political, Iraq may be forced to respond sooner than later. So, what does this mean for those watching the dinar as an investment? Cautious optimism. Yes, the road has been long. And yes, there have been many false starts. But this time, something feels different. The dynamics are shifting. And when power players like Trump take direct aim at Iraq's dollar pipeline, you know big moves are coming. That's it for today's update, but trust me, this story is far from over. We're watching the dollar flow, the exchange rate signals, and every move out of Baghdad and Washington, and will bring you updates as soon as they happen. If you found this breakdown helpful, informative, or even just thought-provoking, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you never miss an update. We break down the noise so you can stay ahead of the curve. This is Iraqi Dinar Updates, say your go-to source for real-time analysis and straight talk about what's really happening with the Iraqi currency and beyond. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.